Mr. Spaghetti and I would like to officially mention Mila Nutter, who loves Dave Matthews Band. If you're thinking this is a little out of character, indeed it is, but this is for my dear friend, Jason Mansour, a man very concerned with me eating enough. Jason, thank you so much. And he's made a lot of great requests, so if Jason thinks it's a good idea, who knows? Maybe this will be divisive, or maybe there's a lot of Dave Matthews fans kind of hiding out there without me knowing about it. Crush, this one's a challenge. It's a challenge. I had to really go through it a million billion times to sort of figure out where everything goes and where it's divided, but I'm going to put this piece of paper on my website so you can follow along, and I'm going to need to follow along while I'm doing this. RyanLent.com, show notes, super secret backwards code. The opposite of crush, of course, is Mexican Coke. So here we go. This is going to be an exercise in chord naming, because you're going to need to know why I named it that so you know what you're looking at when you look at the sheet of paper. The first chord, however, is very straightforward. It's B minor. By the way, I'm going off the one where Dave Matthews did it solo, the AOL Sessions one. I'm not familiar enough with Dave Matthews Band to know if it's all the same. I would imagine it is, but maybe you're much more familiar, and if he went, for 6 measures on the one thing one time, you'll be able to figure it out. But here we go with the solo acoustic Dave Matthews version. Put yourself in drop D. And then play a B minor. Just don't play the low D string. Just hangs on this for a while. I'd imagine this is when the bass is going, right? And then when he starts to sing, it's a B minor, followed by, just remove your pinky finger and unbar it. So we have now an open E string and an open G string. And this takes the chord, strangely, from a B minor to an E minor 7, throw an F sharp in there as well, so that's an add 9, an E minor 7 add 9, or you just think of it as a B minor with the things removed. Okay, the next thing that happens is pretty weird. We're going to play the better man chord, right? 2 on the E string. We'll still call our low D string the E string so we don't get totally lost. 2 on the E string, 2 on the G string, 3 on the B string. But since we're in drop D, it's no longer D with an F sharp in the bass. It's D with an E in the bass. E is D's number 2, so this is a D sus2 with an E in the bass. I'll play the whole part all the way through after I'm done yapping away, and then B string becomes 2, which makes it a D major 7 sus2 with an E in the bass. So far, B minor for a while. Singing starts. Crazy. Okay, now he goes like this. It's just 3 on our E string and 5 on our G string. That all adds up to 2 an F, a C, and a D. So it's an F chord with a D in it, which is the 6. So F6. Mind you, if you just want to play F, you have my blessing. And then G is going to be 5 on E, 5 on D, 4 on G. Not that hard of a shape to get to because it's an awful lot like your E shape, just that's the difference. And then straight to a C power chord, so 3, 5, 5. And then pointer finger to A2, pinky finger or ring finger if you can reach. I'm going to use my pinky finger to D5. That would be a B power chord, right? Except for the fact that this 5th is raised up 1, and that makes it a sharp 5, which just happens to be called an augmented. So B augmented, down to B power chord, to back to your B minor. I saw Mr. Matthews doing it, doing that D5, the A2, and the low chord 2 sometimes. Not every time. I could not figure out if there was a pattern or if it was just a split-second decision he made in the moment. Okay, so whole verse. Intro on B minor. Singing. check. It does the verse a couple of times through before the time when it comes out of its F. You know, by the way, if you want to play just F, just play just F. And if you want to play just G, just play just G. But you can't play, well, you can, because D's in the G chord, but it's not going to sound great because it's so low. Just play G. Just leave your low D string out of it for those two wacky chords, you know, these two. And for along those lines, just play C if you want. But except for the times when he says, feels so right, instead of doing the B augmented thing, he goes from F to G to C to E major, which I'm going to play the whole entire way of it, which is 2, 2, 2, 1. He just kind of played the power chord, the drop D power chord on the 2nd fret, but I really like to hear that major third, and he feels so right. Well, maybe he doesn't sing it, but it is definitely an E major, so E major it if you want, power chord it if you want. So that's going to be... The next thing that's different is the lovely lady part, which is going to be 5, 5, 5, 7, which is a big, huge, giant drop D G power chord, because this is no longer A, because we've lowered our string by 2 notes. So it's a G, G's 5th, another G, and another 5th. So it's a double power chord, denoted as simply G5, right? So, lovely lady. And then it moves up 2 frets and adds the ring finger onto D9, which takes it from a drop D power chord with a 5th to a regular E power chord, but with not a B, which would be another 5th, so a different double power chord shape, or concept rather. But since the string again is in drop D, it's an A, which makes it an E sus4 power chord, sort of, with an A in the bass. So, lovely lady. Up 2 frets, add the ring finger. And then it does but it doesn't go back down into our B minor. It does this again, right? And the second time it's a retard, which means slower on no particular count there. You'll see it I'm sure that's how it goes. Not so familiar. Okay, it just struck me that that's probably the time when he used that low string as well. So 2, 2, 5 before he goes back into the lovely lady part. Okay, and we're to the chorus, the big satisfying part. Now, the way he does it is like the most difficult possible way one could have possibly come up with to do the chords that he does, but it's A8, D10, and G12. Now that's an F power chord, right? Recognize the power chord shape, plus that G note, which is F's 2 or 9. An easier way to play this would be this, F, the Beatles F, right? But with the pinky finger on that G note, E string 3rd fret. So you could do this whole chorus like this. F, sorry. I forget what it is. Let's do it this way first. F with the add 9. And then we're going to make a regular G power chord up on A, 10, 12, and 12. That's a G power chord. And then the next one, just remove your ring finger and your D string becomes 10. That's this power chord, so C. It's a C power chord. And then we're going to do A10, D9, and keep your pinky finger. Doesn't move from the G string 12th fret. So the simple way of saying all this is F with a 9, G regular, C with a G in the bass, which we can't really do because we're in drop D, but we can certainly play C, and then G regular. This is a G root 3rd and root. This is a G power chord. So 2 different kind of Gs to give it a little bit of motion there. But that's it for the chorus. simply... that note in there to keep some consistency, that G. And when we play the G chord, again, no low D string, so it's just those two out of your G shape. And then for the C, keep that high G in there, just for funsies. I know what to say next. The thing to say next is he does that, you know, X and a half amount of time. So 1. But the time that's a half, it's going to be. Or am I dreaming? Which we know that part. That's the C and the E power chord, or E major. And we just got one more part. This is the most straightforward part. It's the jam when he's talking about Mumbai. G5. These are all drop D power chords. G's on the 5th fret. F's on the 3rd fret. E's on the 2nd fret. Mumbai, Mumbai. The 3rd time it's G, F, D on the 12th fret. C, B, flat, and then he goes back to the regular thing. So 12, 10, 9, 8, back to 1 time regular. And then it's the weird one. 12, 10, 9, 8, and 1 more regular. And then he goes into his lovely lady thing. By the way, I used to play a baseball game. Anyone play this Nintendo game? It was called Baseball Stars, and it had a team on it called the Lovely Ladies. Raise your hand if you ever played that song. But yeah, those are the pieces to Crush by Dave Matthews Band. That was tricky. So I didn't map out when everything goes. That's you and your earball's job. I've given you the pieces, and that's it. So Jason, thank you so much for your kind support of the cause, and everybody else. Thank you for being here. It was a little bit of a tightrope. We'd never even had a Dave Matthews request. Not, you know, my most favorite thing in the world. Certainly not my least favorite thing in the world, but not in the avenue of stuff I usually do. So let me know what you thought of that. And also, I'm gonna have to go back and mention Mila Nutter in the beginning. Oh well, that's it. I'm gonna stop now. Have a wonderful Friday, everybody. I'll see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.